You know, I was in practice as a chiropractor for 30 years. I've probably personally worked on close to 40,000 different people in that period of time. I've given a lot of adjustments, and I wish I would have known back then what I know now, especially when people had chronic misalignment problems, especially in the neck, and specifically in the first cervical vertebra called the atlas. People would come in all the time and you have to keep readjusting them over and over and over. So in this video, I'm going to talk about an interesting situation that's quite common with a lot of people. It involves the atlas. What is the atlas? The atlas is the first cervical vertebra. It's a vertebra like a ring, and it sits right underneath the skull. The entire skull sits on this one cervical vertebra, and over 90% of all your motion in your neck occurs from C1. So if you can't move your neck too well to the right or left, chances are it's going to be the first cervical vertebra that's going to be involved. Now, what's unique about this first vertebra is that you have the brainstem extending through this vertebra as well as in the second one called the axis. So in other words, part of your brain actually extends out of your skull into the first and second vertebra. And if that vertebra is misaligned, you can have all sorts of issues that are related to the brainstem. Your breathing can be affected. You can get headaches, migraine headaches, tinnitus, that's ringing in the ears, jaw pain. You can get neck pain, back pain, actually lower back pain from your neck. Why? Because it's all connected. You can have a lot of lack of motion in your neck or even in your shoulders. You can become dizzy. You can feel nauseated, which I'm going to talk about why. And your breathing can be affected as well. Now, when I was going through school learning about how to become a chiropractor, what happened is a lot of people practice on you and they don't know what the heck they're doing. And so you get over-adjusted and you get adjusted to the wrong place. And I will tell you firsthand, if you get adjusted the wrong way, you're going to have issues. For example, someone adjusted my neck and I ended up with a severe sinus problem. It wasn't an infection, but my nose was stuffy. So over the years, I've become very aware of what can happen if this first vertebra, even the second one, becomes misaligned. Many times you won't be able to sleep that well. You also have digestive issues as well. Now, you can actually have a whiplash injury. You can have some trauma to your head. I mean, even being born is traumatic. Someone taking forceps on your head and twisting or pulling your head, that's enough to misalign the first cervical vertebra. So if you've never had an adjustment by a very good chiropractor and you have a problem with your neck or anything related to that first cervical vertebra, having the right adjustment by a very good chiropractor is extremely therapeutic. However, if someone has a chronic problem with C1 and they have to continually get adjusted over and over and over, there's something else going on. And it involves a nerve called the vagus nerve, which comes out of the brainstem. So if the first cervical vertebra is misaligned, that can affect the vagus nerve that goes into the digestive system. But the vagus nerve is bidirectional. In other words, nerves go from your gut back up into the brain. So any problem with the gut can cause the first cervical vertebra to get tight and even misalign. So you get adjusted, you feel better, then the next time you eat, it's right back to the same problem. Now, the vagus nerve is part of the autonomic nervous system called the parasympathetic nervous system that's responsible for rest and digestion. So I have found that the solution to this chronic misalignment of the atlas is to change your food so you're no longer bloating, so you no longer have constipation. When your gut is working, your neck is really nice and loose. So anyway, if you're new to my channel and you wanted to know what diet would be really good for your gut, I put a link down below. But in general, this video is for those of you who have a lot of tightness in the upper part of the neck. It's really coming from your gut. So if you're enjoying my content, which I hope you are, and you're applying this knowledge to your health, and you have a success, I would really appreciate you sharing your success story. So click the link down below to my website where you can upload your success story so you can help inspire others.